Welcome to the B-Sides and Beers podcast.
Welcome to B-Sides and Beers episode 72. Tonight we're talking Ghost and guitars with GORAN, luthier and owner of Vicious Guitars. What's going on?
What is going on? I hope everyone here plays Flying V's.
Well, they will after this one.
No doubt, yeah.
They fucking will after this one.
Cool. Yeah.
No doubt.
Thank you for having me, friends. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Ghost guitars and that's it. Pretty cool. So
Ghost guitars and beers.
Mm-hmm. So what do you guys drink?
Well, let's start with the guest first. What do you got?
Yeah.
I'll probably make a fool of myself, but I'm drinking wine. I know this is a beer podcast, but unfortunately, I'm not much of a beer drinker. But I do hear about. I mean, I kind of learn about all these breweries that you guys are promoting, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just drinking wine with Coke, typical European trash.
It's not as bad as it sounds. It's pretty good actually.
Nice. Mike, what do you got?
Tonight I have something super interesting that I've never had before. It's from R&B Brewing. It is a dill pickle gose. Gose?
Gosa.
It's pickles and beer. It's not
How's
awful,
that
but
taste?
it's like pickles and beer.
Right on.
Mm-hmm. And then, getting into the season, I'm having my, I guess technically, second pumpkin ale. And this is from Russell Brewing. It is a pumpkin pie milkshake IPA.
Oh yeah.
Nice. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so I'm stoked over that one. Haven't opened it yet, but yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Where is R&B Brewery?
R&B is out of Vancouver.
Is it Russell Brewing?
That one was
says
Russell, and then the first
R&B.
one was R&B, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Russell and R&B, I'm not sure. It just says Vancouver.
Okay.
East 4th Avenue.
There you go.
East Van, man.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Lots coming out of Vancouver these days.
Tons.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point. Dane, what do you got?
I just finished off a High Five Hazy IPA. Yellow Dog, always good.
Can't go wrong.
Nice.
Never disappoint. So today I kind of made it my mission to grab some stuff that I don't normally drink. And shoot, boys, along with gas, beer prices are just... It's not fair. Yep, it's not fair. I don't know what's happening on the mainland, but we're at $2.32 for a liter of gasoline.
Oh, man. We're not there yet.
Yeah. We're talking conspiracies, and we're just like, it just makes you want to get an electric car, right? So I wonder what's going on there. Anyway, so I picked up something called a Poco Pivo, which is a dry hopped pills, paying homage to Agostino Arioli. And this is Tin House, right?
Tin House, I don't know that.
Tin House Brewing, love that name.
Yeah. Where's that one?
Out of Port Coquitlam. Yeah.
Lower Mainland. Bringing it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So excited about this. Okay. So every year around this year, I talk about the fresh hop brews going on. Cat 12. So another one of these brewers that used to be physicists, scientists, and decided that this was more fun. So these guys do an amazing fresh hop. I've had it last year, and I'm really excited about it. Regardless of what people say, fresh hop doesn't make a difference. I think it does. So these only come out. These are only available for a couple weeks out of the year. So I'm excited about that.
Beauty.
Nice.
Last up on deck, I've got a Slackwater Brewing. This is an Idleback Amber Ale with Cascade hops. So it's got like a fish on there that caught my eye. I was like,
Yeah, Slackwater. That's Penticton.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's see. Drum roll. They are out of St. Martin Street, Penticton.
Yes. Okay.
You got it, man.
All right. We're going to start
Yeah,
testing ourselves on where these places are.
Yeah, right. At this point, we should have some knowledge.
A tiny bit.
Right?
Yeah.
I was excited about the can. I'm excited about having an amber ale. I'm excited in general.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man. That's nice. You guys got something that brand new. I kind of went back to where it all started, and I went with Granville Island. A 3 of Granville Island. So I got the Island Lager, I got the English Bay Ale, and I got the Kitsilano Juicy IPA. So
Nice.
2008 brewery tour of the Granville Island is probably where like the interest in beer, kind of the whole thing started almost,
Totally.
right? So there you go. That's something old and then something new. And let's talk Vicious Guitarist, shall we?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
let's do it.
All right. Goran, tell us about this entire thing that you do.
Well, back in the day. Anyway, yeah, you know what? Like, obviously, everyone heard about the greatest band out there. They're called Metallica, and they're just riff master James Hetfield. Anyway, yeah. So I grew up with Metallica and all these fucking extreme shapes, and then you would see them, and then out of nowhere, it's just kind of I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should start a company and just try and build like V-shaped guitars, and then but it all started. I actually worked with a friend of mine who's a luthier, and then I was kind of helping him out doing all the fairs and whatever he was doing. And then I kind of learned into, you get to into some sort of, let's say, activity or sphere. And then I kind of started to learn about the wood and wood properties and wood carving. And I guess, the older I get, the I like to get my hands dirty for some reason. I don't know. And then I'm like, what? Let me try and build some of that. But actually, in 2015, I kind of commissioned my guitar from him, and then I kind of that was actually something that I learned about wood, kind of, like it's all interesting. Like if you want to build a guitar for yourself or like at least spec it, right? Then you kind of have to have some sort of knowledge or understanding, tonal properties, aesthetic and whatever. And then, he built the guitar for me and I'm like, this is really cool. And it's like this beautiful, like neck through offset Fender-esque guitar. And I'm like, you know what? And then, actually, it was at the jazz show that I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were like, you know what? I'm like, it'll be so cool if I could come up with a brand of, just the kind of V-shaped guitars. I had the entire idea already. I kind of knew exactly what I wanted. I knew that I was going to move to Japan at the time, and the peace signs are all over the place, and kind of V for vicious. I'm like, but why vicious? My last name's Popovic, but then I had some sort of I would like a DJ or whatever, and then my name would be like Musica Popovicius. Like Popovic, whatever. Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm gonna name this brand Vicious, and it's kind of awesome. Like, I guess the first idea that come to my mind is probably the best one, and I usually stick with that. So and then fast forward to COVID-19, 2019 or actually 20, but I kind of started in 2019. Went to like a Exotic Woods in Burlington and just got a lot of wood. And I'm like, usually people would buy, if you want to build something, especially as the first one, you would go and buy some, like, I don't know, pine or whatever, something like you don't really, if you mess it up, you're not going to be sad about it, right? Because but yeah, not this guy. I'm like, you know what? I know that I want to do this, and I'm like, so I just went full in, bought the material for probably the 7 or 8 guitars, high exotic woods, like exotic pimped out, because I knew what kind of style of guitars that I would like to do, right? And then it all began. So I signed up for this like a woodworking, what they call it, woodworking certification here in Toronto at like Makerspace. So I did one course. They kind of teach you how to, basically how not to cut your arm or something like that. So I did that.
Very useful.
And and I just kind of started. Like prior to that, obviously, I did watch like plenty of YouTubes, and I took kind of notes, some mental notes from like videos and Instagram, whatever you see, right? How people build guitars, and I started. I've never prior to this barely used like sandpaper. I didn't even, I didn't need to, right? Like why am I gonna, and all of a sudden there's like so many different grits and like, chisels and power tools and whatever. So but interesting thing, what actually started all in 2019, I got my first tool for my birthday, and it was an orbital sander from my wife. She was like, "Hey, what do you want for your birthday?" I'm like, "I want orbital sander." She was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "I have it in my cart. Here you go. Just pull the trigger." So I still have it, still use it. It's great. And nice. Here we are, and that's how I kind of started. Me personally, but the brand existed since like 2015. So a friend of mine who I mentioned before, he was kind of building guitars for me. I would still do the Instagram and promotion and all of that fun stuff. So he did the prototype. I didn't really like that approach. It was like bolt-on neck. I kind of really wanted to go like, something that people don't really do, something that you don't really see that often. Like rarely you would see neck through body flying V with like, exotic woods from like whatever, right? So it's usually, maple, mahogany, nitrocellulose, and that's it, right? I mean, nothing against those things. I kind of wanted to, separate myself from the, crowd, I guess. But even like just like making V shapes, it's kind of separated again, right? But that's the thing and I was always kind of I always kind of like the extreme shapes. But if we're talking about extreme shapes, not extreme, like not too pointy or that's like just like tacky in my opinion. But so here we are. I just kind of redesigned the thing and added, some of the features that is kind of like recognizable, right? Like, I mean, you would probably see that there's only one pickup, right? But on the other hand, like, who the hell uses, neck pickup these days? Nobody. Look at this guy. Look at this.
Nobody.
But anyway, we can install, neck pickup should you want one, or, people always ask me like, but hey, can you install? I'm like, of course you can. We're just fucking routing out a hole, right? It's not, not a big deal. Like, but why would you use it? I'm like, it's just like, personal.
I got the router. I got the, I could do it all.
I got the router bits. Yeah.
That's quite the story. I love how you just jumped into something that I've got a little bit of a background of doing a bit of woodwork, and it's intimidating, that learning curve, like you said, understanding how to use all the tools without cutting off your hand, and then it's not effing up that expensive piece of baginga or whatever it is that you're using. So that's awesome, and that you just sort of jumped right into it. Were you playing guitar like before all this? Like obviously you have
I mean, I suck at it, right? But I mean, I know, like, play, so I know the guitar is in tune. I know the, and then obviously with making guitar, you kind of have to know how to set it up so it plays nice and all of that. I mean, there's no other way than you just have to dive in with anything you do. At least that's my approach.
Were you were prototyping in maker spaces, but were you also producing, or like how did you get to that point where you were like producing a product that?
Okay. So prototype was actually made in Croatia, and it was So and then I kind of designed a thing, right? So here it is, first one ever. So yeah, like I kind of it's too pointy, right? I didn't really like it to be that pointy. I didn't like the bolt-on neck. I'm like, you know what? Let's do something else, right? And then, it was kind of like a back to the drawing board. I didn't really want to make spitting image of the actual Flying V, and then I kind of redid the whole thing, and then I commissioned another guitar. So that was like a 7-string. So I don't have it here. I will show you, but yeah, it's like I have to tell you this. So because I think it's funny, but maybe not. Anyway, so it's a 7-string, like neck through, and it has a golden shower finish, which is and people are like, what the fuck, golden yeah, so I mean, obviously that's my approach to everything, right? You just kind of have to have fun. And anyway, so and yeah, I kind of knew what I wanted, and then that's it. So the prototype I didn't really like that much because like things I mentioned, it was too pointy. I didn't really like the heel. It was kind of, in a way, it was like typical Fender-esque heel that is like, it's just, I don't know. I'm like, you know what, we could do better than that. And then, I'm like, you know what, let's redesign it. Then we did. He built it. And then, I had we sold some guitars. I had a dealer in the United States. He kind of liked the approach, he liked the idea, and then we built a few for him, and then it kind of started. And then since my luthier friend, his brand kind of just he was really busy producing his guitars, and he didn't really have time to kind of my stuff. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to try and do it myself. And here it is, first one ever. So yeah, I just went to get some stuff, and that's it. I was like drawing stuff, trying it out. Basically, it's just like, how to glue things and how to put it together. It's more than that, but, has to be square and has to be like how you treat the, but because, I mean, obviously whoever doesn't know anything about, it's like, this is like engineering, and it's woodworking, it's finishing, it's electronics. I never soldered a wire in my life. It took me 3 fucking hours to solder 3 wires here, right? Like, I don't know how to do this, I was like, I just, and then it comes to, I mean, you just have to kind of do it. And then I think I remember I was actually spamming Mike. Hey, Mike, look at this. What do you think? And Mike was like kind enough to then kind of tell me, hey, you know what? Fuck off with all these stupid pictures of your guitars. And then once I wired it, I think I sent the photo to Mike, and I'm like, Mike, look, this is my first guitar. So I finished this one in May of last year, and since then I built. It'll be 16 in total. Wow. So it's all kind of I guess it started. I mean, it's kind of and then I got this bad bitch. So we got 5 of these, which was kind of we did a series of 5. When I say we, it's actually me, but people say we. I'm like, no, it's me by myself. Yeah. So it's interesting. I got. There's like several different models. There's 6, 7, and 8 string. They all have these like Japanese names because it all started kind of when I was gonna move there, and and then it's kind of and here it is. So I'm trying to. This is James Hetfield-ish approach to his Ken Lawrence models. And yeah, so this is it.
What is that? What is that top finish there? What kind of wood is that?
Oh, this is it's spalted maple. So
Wow.
yeah, it's freaking insane, and it's
Yeah.
I guess that's fungus. The wood, how it grows, or I guess,
Right.
And then yeah, it's very brittle, and then this is probably the I guess the worst wood. Well, kind of the least well, I'm gonna. I don't know. It's
Most difficult.
It's
to
very
glue
brittle,
and
so you
work
kind of
with,
have
and
to
yeah.
know what are you doing. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna treat it as whatever. I'm like, no, this is like sponge, so you have to
Yeah.
soak it in oil before you kind of do anything. But yeah. So yeah, what else we got? I mean, I can show you like whatever. So I built this guitar for our friend Tobias Forge, in
Yep.
attempt to. I'm like, Toby, you know what? I'm going to give you this guitar, and I built it for him, and then I never wired it. I'm like, you know what, Toby? Yeah, actually. So they played Toronto, and then I wanted to do this VIP thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of get to meet them and whatever. But I'm like, you know what, $500? I don't think so. And then I have to give you a guitar. I'm like, no way, Toby. I'll give it to someone else who needs it more than you do. Anyway, so yeah, and, and this is another one. So this is the one that I built for a friend of mine. And this is like a flame maple top.
It's insane.
Yeah, so
Beautiful.
yeah. So this friend, he's a fan of Paul Reed Smith. So hence this little. The volume
lampshade
pot.
knob.
So yeah, build that one for him, and then kind of I still have to, I guess, give it to him. But anyway,
Gordon,
not
what
playing.
was the? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes,
What
sir.
was the wood like acquisition and like prices like once COVID hit? Was it difficult to get this type of wood, and was it like insanely expensive? Because it feels like a piece of plywood was like astronomical, or a piece of spruce
$20 for a 2x4.
$16 for a 2x4. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this stuff must have been astronomical.
I mean, this is my first time kind of doing this thing, so I don't really have anything to compare.
I guess
with.
nothing to compare to. Yeah.
So, I mean, so for me, it's like I'm like, well, fuck, whatever it takes, right? Because I want to do it, so. It's not cheap for sure, right? But I mean that's just how it is. It's either you want to do it the proper way, and then I don't really want to compromise, because if you compromise, then that's not what I want it to be. So I'm like, you know what, we're gonna do this properly. So yeah, I mean, I use everything that I use is like high end, like top shelf materials, because there's no point of like, to cheap out on pickups or electronics, or even like the, pots or whatever, because I'm seeing people would use, the imported stuff from Asia, just so they can save like 30 cents, on a pot. It's
not worth
to
it.
me, it's kind of ridiculous. But anyway,
What's your favorite wood to work with?
Oh man, good one. It's the. Let me ask you, what's your favorite beer? Right? There's like so many. No, but for real, right? That's
I get it. It was a stupid question.
No. I didn't know. Yeah, but I mean, it's just great, right? But it's interesting, like, because I'm still learning the craft. I'm still, trying to see what's out there, and I'm trying to experiment. I'm like adding stuff into like more aesthetic approach, kind of things that I didn't really think that I'll be able to do, because it look, the thing is like intimidating in the beginning. Well, not just like tool wise. Yeah, you're working with this like expensive wood. What if you like screw it up and then you have to throw it out, or you have to learn how to fix it, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, like from day one, but all of the guitars that I built so far, they had a different wood. So the first one was maple burl, the second one was flame maple, third one was quilt maple for Mike, and then fourth one was
Isn't mine the fourth?
what was a spalted maple. So I'm kind of like, trying to, because not all of them are the same, right? Density is different. Look at that green machine.
Green machine, dude.
Oh,
That's what it's
They
all
really
about.
are pretty.
Yeah.
Well, and
So
it
T's
was,
just holding up his his V right now.
well, it was wild too because I originally found your stuff just scrolling around through Instagram, and the biggest thing that stood out was your original headstock design. Like it looked like nothing else, and it definitely stood out from the pack. And then, I messaged you, and I think the first thing I said was something about, man, I love what you're doing here. Is there any way I can help you? Kind of thing. And you kind of came back. It's like, wow, you're the first person that ever asked that. Everybody asked me for a free fucking guitar. So, so I mean, from there, I've just been trying to promote and I love what you do, man. I've got a lot of high end guitars. I've got Les Paul customs and, $5,000 SGs and Paul Reed Smiths and everything. And this is my favorite guitar in my whole collection. And it's totally, man. And I equate it to like if you're into high end watches, and sure, you can go out and you can buy a really nice watch, but when it's comes down to what you do, where it's you go to the high end watches where it's one guy from start to finish. He does everything. He does the gears. He does the everything, and he spends 2 years on your watch. And it was very similar to that sort of experience for me, where you said you were bothering me with your pictures and videos, but just watching you carve a neck was mind-blowing to me. And looking at how short of a span you've been doing this,
Super impressive.
I mean, to just by hand, just scraping it away and carving it and scraping it away and carving it, and it's just perfection. So,
Did you have a background in any sort of product design or any sort of, because you've definitely taken an archetype and you've changed it in a way which is it looks great. I mean, some people can change, a V and make it look not so good, but what you've done is the guitars are really beautiful. What's your background, or is this just talent? You just have an eye for awesome shit?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because I don't really do that kind of a thing where I would try to define everything, and I can't really tell you what it is that that kind of. I mean, yeah, it is progressive, but I guess what? If I did this when I was 20, I don't think it would be as close as this. So I think everything that you've experienced, everything that you've seen, and everything that you've done, and everything that you absorb from because I am I have exposure to a lot of different visual categories, right? I love architecture. My background is visual arts in photography and graphic design, and I know what I like, and I kind of understand when something's too much, when something is, when you have to tone it down somehow. Just now, right? Try to add more little tiny details that are not as they're not in your face. It's more once you grab the object closer. So that's what I'm trying to kind of get that connection, because it'll be only for a player, right? It might be for the audience or whoever guitar player is, or whoever you're building guitar for, right? But for instance, I tried it because when you grab the guitar, people will see it. Obviously, it has to look nice, right? But then there's also like a kind of elements that you have to combine, whether the gold bridge look nicer, or would it black bridge look better, right? But right now, I kind of started to adding a little bit like tiny little details that are not visible, but they're very subtle. And I guess it's just, however, this guitar is personal for the person who plays it, right? But that's this little detail that he will only notice, right? And it's like this tiny little layer of like thin veneer in between the top and the body, and it just kind of gives you that, it's just like the little detail. I think it's not like exclusive, and it's not that I'm just it's not that I like recreated something or whatever, reinvented just steel. Not at all. But I kind of like these, you know what I mean? Like these tiny details are kind of something that I like people to have, right? But mainly architecture. I really like the minimalistic style, like 70s and actually like mid-century, furniture and Scandinavian approach. And that's the kind of the, obviously, wood. So it's interesting. Especially you can carve it, you can reshape it, it's the process that is kind of rewarding to me as well. Like Mike just mentioned, the carving the neck. This is probably the nicest thing that you can do, right? For me, at least.
Oh, it looks so intimidating doing something like that.
No, but
doing it right.
No. But think about it. Like everything that you do, you're not gonna go and whatever. I don't know. I don't even know if I have any explanation for that. For instance, for every task will require a certain tool, whatever you do, right? So you're not going to go and carve a neck with a chainsaw, obviously, right? So, but there's like those fine little tools and rasps that you can kind of, will help you to do things right. But but patience is the key element of everything. Again, if I was 20, look, fucking to carve a neck 3 hours, get the fuck out of here, right? Like, no way. But right now, it's so like, I don't know. It's interesting. For every task that I do, I have different music that I listen to, right? And for carving the neck is, for the first thing that you have to kind of carve a shit ton of material, it's usually like Gojira or like something heavy and fast, right? You have to, get that elbow grease. But for fine work, it's like something jazzy, like, very, very calm. And so I just take my time. That's the kind of thing, your mind just kind of drifts away. It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, man. If you don't like, that's what I've realized, I think, in my old age, that like when you're working around the house and you don't have the right tool for the job, it makes it infinitely harder. And if you don't have any patience to go along with that, you might as well pack it in, right? Like, or get a divorce, because like it's not going to go well. Right? It's going to go south fast. But but you mentioned Ghost in Toronto. And I want to go back to that. How was that show?
Oh man, it was interesting. I haven't seen them in this kind of arrangement, right? So it was cool. You know what? I didn't really expect that I'm going to have a lot of fun, because the last record is not really my favorite. But dude, that thing's you have to watch this.
It's an experience.
You have to watch them perform the new songs, I should say. Yep. It was freaking awesome, man. I had the best time. Once you see this guy, like, his moves and like his outfit and like backing vocals, Jesus, I think probably that makes a lot of sense. And those kind of layers, things that are not like full on, it's not just him. It's not just the guitar. It's not just the drummer. It's everything combined. The sound was amazing. And but his fucking moves are, like you listen to the music and you just laugh, because this guy is such a, like, entertainer, I guess I should say,
Yeah.
but also like a fucking character, right? And he just, I mean, obviously you can see his fucking wig. It's fake. It's but it's supposed to be like, like as like how it is. And he's like blue, shiny suit, and he would sing, and he would like, that. These moves are the
And
best.
wardrobe changes.
He was
yeah.
like singing, and then he throws the mic in the other hand.
Crooner.
It's
Like
awesome.
is a full-on crooner.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, look at you! Look at you sporting Ghost shirt. Cool,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, got to do it. This is from when I saw them a couple of years ago, and just before pandemic hit, I saw them in Penticton, and it was unreal. There was they had their arena, which is quite massive, but when we got there, they had half of it blocked off because they just didn't sell enough tickets to do the full arena, and so it was more of an intimate and interactive sort of a setting. Like there was still thousands of people there, but it was half the arena, and they still put on a show like it was the biggest. You're playing to 8 million people. It was unreal, and just the amount of money that they spend on production and stage presence, and just it's like a Broadway show, or it's full on 70s theatrical through and through, man. It's unreal, and it's really funny how people tend to think that they're a big scary metal band, and then you hear them and they're like a 70s prog band, and there's almost no distortion on their guitars at all for anything, and every once in a while they'll throw in a saxophone or a keytar or any of those things, and it's amazing, man. It was one of my favorite shows ever.
Wow, ever.
It's up there, man. Like it was a
Oh, wow,
show.
okay.
It was a proper show. It wasn't just an awesome band that I dug playing just their songs. It was a performance through and through. Even at the end, I mean, the exploding confetti and the just the amount of shit that they put into it, right?
Yeah.
Have you
ever seen Rammstein?
No.
Oh,
No.
there you go.
The videos,
Now
I've seen a lot of the videos
you'll
and stuff
know.
with the fire and whatever, but yeah, unreal.
Oh yeah, cool. How about you, gents? Have you seen Ghost live? Did you get a chance or?
I'm late to the party. I've known of them. I've never really listened to them up until a couple days ago.
Right.
So what do you think?
I get it. I mean, first off, they're Swedish, right?
Yeah.
So there's that element of evil, which is almost comedic,
Yeah.
but at the same time serious. So even if there is a saxophone playing, there is that sort of dark undertone, which I dig.
Yep.
And then you throw in the makeup and theatrics, also sort of Scandinavian, dark undertones. I get it, but it's accessible. And like Mike said, from the live shows that I've been checking on YouTube, it's interesting. To be honest with you, when I first listened, I listened to like the track on Spotify that had like 100 million streams. It reminded me a little bit of Def Leppard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had an 80s feel to it, I thought, too.
Yeah.
Totally.
It
70s,
definitely
80s.
had
Yeah.
that. As like a first-time listener, and like, 124 million streams, and this album came out in 2022. Like, it is
massive.
by far their most listened song by like a ton. And so they must be doing quite well on this, like Mary on a Cross, 124 million, and the next one's like, I don't know, 31, something like that.
Yeah.
So-
Well, since 2010, I mean, they've just been growing and growing. And when you've got massive, like big famous musicians wanting to be a ghoul,
Dave Grohl.
you got Dave Grohl, and like who else? I mean, anyone could just step in that spot for that one night, because basically it's Tobias and two other guys that were original that write everything. But the other guys, they don't tour with them, so they always have, these session musicians that are unfucking real. But you throw on a mask, it could be anybody. So just the growth and the mystique and the everybody wants kind of on board. They're a musicians band, I guess.
Yeah, he's been like sued a couple times by those guys too. Hey, I read that. Like,
Yeah.
guys, it didn't go through, but
No.
it was interesting his rebuttal to it. But it was basically like, what is your definition of a group? Like, what is your define what a group is, and like how we are supposed to work together as a group. And it was very like, splitting hairs a little bit, but didn't have to pay anything. So
Yep.
but he did have to be unmasked. I read that he had to be unmasked in 2017 there.
Yep.
That's unfortunate. That's like Daft Punk taking off the helmets. It's like looking behind the curtain, man. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I mean, keeping it secret for 7 years, even through live shows, is impressive too, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah, keeping that all. Hey, Goran, it was super nice to talk to you. And
Same.
Yeah, like super impressed with all the work that you do. Beautiful stuff, and we're glad we can kind of promote it on here. And thank you for the shout outs and the help for on our side too. We appreciate that because there's not a lot of love in the BC beer business, I don't think so. It's
Every
nice to
little
switch
bit
it up.
helps.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Cool.
appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah,
My
definitely.
pleasure.
Man.
Thank you, gents. Thank you
Killer
for
hand.
having me. Anyway, if you're ever in good old Toronto, let me know. Although, like, why the fuck would you even come this way? But anyway, if you're here
You never
for
know.
business,
Yeah.
whatever. Sure,
Come
don't
crashing
get
here.
stabbed or step on a needle somewhere. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, we want you guys to subscribe, share, and review this podcast. Keep it going, keep it strong, because we're having a great time entertaining you guys with B-Sides and Beers podcast.